Okay, so today basically we will talk about quantiles, quartiles, decile, and percentile. So quantiles, these are actually an extension of the median formula. Okay, and we have quartiles which divide our data into four. Okay, we also have deciles. Okay, so four parts. Let's change the color. So quartiles divides the data into four equal parts, decile into 10, and percentile into 100 parts. Okay, so basically if you have here a data set, okay, let's say these are your data set here. So the half of it is, or when we say quartiles, we try to divide those data into four parts. Okay, so this part here, okay, so this part here, first part, okay, quartile number 1, quartile number 2, quartile number 3, and we have quartile number 4. Okay, so basically this is how we illustrate quartiles. So we divide the data into four equal parts. So if you can see that this part here is like the middle part of the data, which is also refers to our median, right? So when we say median, it's the middle data. Okay, so here we also have to take note that it divides the whole set into two. So we have the lower part, okay, the lower part, which is considered to be our lower quartile, and you have the upper quartile here. So lower and the upper quartiles. So in the lower quartile, quartile number 1 is the half or the median of that. So also quartile number 3 is the middle part of the upper quartile. So by the way, we don't actually write quartile 4. So we only have quartile 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that is how we illustrate quartiles. So on the other hand, we also have deciles. And deciles are like division of 10 equal parts. So if you have a data set, you need to divide it into 10, and you need to divide it into 10, so you need to have deciles, same as percentile for 100. Okay, so asking about the middle point or the median of this data for decile, what do you think is the median? So the median will be what? So let's say you have a data set and you have the median, okay, the middle part, for example, here. So that is actually in, when we represent it using the decile, we have the 5th decile. Okay, and for percentile, you'll have it 50th percentile. So it is the halfway. Okay, so if you have also here the upper one here, so these are the upper 50% of 50% here, and the lower 50%, okay, of the data set. Okay, so that is how we illustrate also in connection to our median, right? So median is basically equal to quartile number 2. Okay, so we also have quartile So median is equal to quartile number 2, or the second quartile, the 5th decile, and the 50th percentile. Okay, so let's just move on. So to find your quartiles, deciles, and percentile of a certain set of the data or data that you have, all you need to do is to identify first which value of observation do you have. Okay, so when we say, or the position of the observation, so the first things first, you need to arrange all of your data. This is for ungrouped data. So we have, you need to arrange your data or data so in ascending order, so it's easier that way. So that is the first and foremost, you need to do that, arrange. Okay, so upon arranging it, you need to now know which formula would you use in here. So for quartiles, so I here for quartiles, so I refers to, listen here, so refers to the quartiles. Okay, for quartiles, so you have, it can be either, or it can be 1, 2, or 3, because in quartiles we have first quartile, second quartile. So depending on the question or the problem, you need to identify which quartile. For example, you need to identify the third quartile, so your I will be equal to 3. Okay, so for this, for decile, of course, we know that it is 10, right? So it should be 1 to 9. Okay, so first decile to ninth decile. And we can also have for percentile, of course, everybody knows that it is 100. So your I can be 1 to 99. Okay, so why don't I include the 100? Because it's 100%. Why did I include 9 and 4 on the quartiles? So because it's the full amount or the full part. So we don't need to have that. Okay, so in this case, what is our n? So we still have here n. So n here actually refers to how many observation you have. So you have n, how many observation. Okay, for example, you have how many data that you have. You need to count how many data or data you have. 5 data, so 10 data, or 20 data or data. So doesn't matter, just the number of the available data that you have. Okay, so this is the number of data. So and also here the same, and also here n. So it depends on the given data. For example, you need to find the decile or the 5th decile of the data set, which has, let's say, 20 for 20 students. So you have n is equal to 20. Yeah, 30th percentile, let's say. Okay, so let's just try some of the problem here. So again, first and foremost, you need to arrange. Okay, so in this given problem, so calculate the first quartile, quartile number 1 here, decile, the third decile, and the 20th percentile from the following data. So 3, 13, 11, 5, 4, and 2. So this is the given one. So what can you do first, or what should you do first, is first and foremost, you need to arrange your observations or the data set. So we can have, so this 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 11, and 13. So I'll just make that a little bit bigger so we can actually would have an easier time trying to find it. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, and 11. So you have 13. So finally 13. Okay, so given this set, oh, I'll just make it a little bit smaller so it will fit our screen. There you go. Okay, so we will try to find the first decile, the third decile, and the 20th percentile of this data. So how many data did we have here? So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 11, 13. So we have a total of 7 data. So you have 7 observations. Again, first and foremost, you need to arrange it. Then you need to find the value of your observation. Okay, so here, of course, I'll just will write n is equal to 7. Since we have 7 data. Okay, so the first question, we need to find the first decile, quartile, first quartile. So here, your I, for the first quartile, your I will be 1, right? So I can be 1, 2, and 3 because we are trying to we're talking about quartiles. So we have 1. You can write it, or you cannot. You should you won't write it. It won't change anything. So times n plus 1. So remember, our n is 7 because it's the number of data, plus 1, okay, over 4. So since we are trying to find the quartile, so we have 4. We'll use 4. Okay. So going further, you can have the position. So remember, this is still the position, guys. This is the nth number of data. So this is not yet the final answer because we are just trying to find the position. So maybe I will type that one. Okay, position of the first quartile. Okay, so the first quartile is in the second position. So we have 7 plus 1, that is 8 over 4. So quartile number 1 is 8. Okay, is equal to 8 over 4, which is just equal to 2. Okay, so equal to 2. Now maybe I'll just try to go a little bit. Okay, so here again, that is equal to 2, right? So first quartile is equal to 2. Okay, so how did I get the 2? Okay, so here you can see that 7 plus 1 is 8, and you divide it by 4, so that is 2. Or that position is the second observation. So not yet the answer. Still need to have it, and second position. Okay, so then you look back at the data that you have, or the data that you have. So what is the second number? So the second number is from the arranged. Okay, so you have the second number is 3. So thus that is our first quartile. So, and then this will be your final answer. There you go. Okay. So let's say you want to find a third quartile. I want to find the third quartile. So I'm just gonna go third quartile. Q3 is equal to my I. Okay, so my I will be 3. Okay, so given that I will have my I as 3. So Q3 is equal to my I, which is 3. N plus 1, that is 8. Okay, so I'm just doing it in a shortcut. So you have here for the first on the upper part, we need to find the first quartile. That's why I have 1. When we want to find the third quartile, I have 3. Okay, so the same with everything here. So third quartile, so you have 3 times 8. So that is actually 3 times 8 is 8. Is 24. So 24 divided by, or 24 over 4, which is just equal to the 6th position. 4. So 8, 6. Okay. So the 6th. And in this case, we have to know which is the 6th one. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 11. So our third quartile now will be 11. So the first part is just the position of the quartile. Okay, so it's just the position, this one. So this is just actually the position 6th. Okay, and in this case it is 11. Okay, now there is actually a way on how we deal with quartiles. So an easier way. So I just want to teach you with that. So let's say you have here 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 11, and 13. So you have 7 set of data, or 7. You have 7 observations. So what is the median or the middle number? So as you can see here, it is odd numbers of data. So we can just have easily identify the mid or the middle part, which is our median. And median, as we know, that it is equal to the second quartile. Okay, so it is also the second quartile, or quartile number 2. Okay, so this one will now be actually the median, which is the quartile number 2, quartile or percentile, 50 percentile also. Okay, so when we want to find the first quartile, so with this one we are actually having 2 sides. So this side on this is the lower quartile, and we have the upper quartile. So the first quartile is the middle point of the lower quartile. So it's the middle. Okay, it's the middle, in the middle also of the first quartile. So we have that as this one. So this is our first quartile, and the third quartile happens to be the middle of the upper quartile. So in this case, what is the middle of the upper quartile? So you have 11. And it is quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. Okay, so much with the quartiles. We will just try to find the decile. So decile, third deciles. Okay, so it might be just too messy. So I'll just clean this one. So the important thing is just we can have enough space and to have learn something. Okay, so we have here the same set of data. We will try to find the third decile. So again, we do um, the same way. Mhm. Okay, so the first one, we need to identify what is our I. So we are trying to find deciles. Thus, all we need to do is to find the I. So I will be, can be until 1 to 10 or 1 to 9. Okay, so we have, oh, this is decile, right? So decile can only be in 1 to 9. So our I will be 1 to 9. Okay, so 1 to 9. This is I. Okay, so how about our n? So our n is the number of data. How many do we have here? How many data did we have? The same as the other one. So we have 7. So 7. So we want to find the third decile. So this is just actually, okay, so I should be 3 since we are trying to find the third decile. Okay, so great. So we have everything that we need. So we just need to do the calculation. So decile number 3 or third decile is just equal to, so the I times n plus 1, 7 plus 1. Okay. We also have over 10. So over 10 because we will try to use the decile formula. So for simplifying it further, you can arrive at your third decile, the position of your third decile. Okay, position of the third decile. So how do you do that? So what is the answer, by the way? What is the answer here? The position is the third or 2.4 observation value or the 2.4 data. Okay, and the second and point 0.4, the second on the 4,000. Is it 4,000? Yeah, or 2.4. So that is 2.4. The position is 2.4, or the location. Maybe it's easier to say location than position. So to locate or location of your third decile. Okay, so this is not yet the answer. You need to take note that when we have a decimal point, so it is 2.4. So it is in between the second and the third. So what is the second and the third data here? So the second and the third is 3 and 4. So what should we do? So the first, we have, it's already 2 and it's past 2 actually. So we have to have the second data. What's just the second one? It's the number 3. Okay, so we have 3 plus, okay, the difference between these two. The difference between these two, in which it is actually in the middle. So the third, okay, so the third decile is in the middle of this numbers. So it is somewhere in the middle of this number. Okay, so our 2.4 observation is in the middle. So next you need to, this is the second one, so I just wrote it here, 3 plus 0.4. 0.4. So where did I get 0.4? So the position tells us that it is in the 2.4, which is past second, the second data from ascending order. Okay, so we need to multiply it by the difference of the two data that, or where our D3 or decile, third decile is located. So it's just in here. So we just look at that. Okay, so 3 and in the middle of 3 and 4. So that means that has a point. So you have 0.4 times the value of the bigger number or the next number. So which is 4. In this case, the bigger number. So next to the other one, 4 minus 3. Okay, so why do I have 4 minus 3? So because we can see that 2.4, okay, it is in 2.4 is in the middle of the second and the third. Okay, second and the third observation. So here, what is your first observation here? So you have 2, then the second is 3 and 4. So it is in the middle. 2.4 is in the middle, the position or the location. So we need to find first. Okay, so we start with, so I started with the number 2, which is the second data, which is in this case, we have the second data as 3. So I had 3 here, plus 0.4. So we have still 0.4 here. Okay, so plus 0.4 times the difference. So we need to minus the two data where the mean is located, or the middle part here. So it is 4 minus 3. So basically you'll end up as having the third quartile as here. So we have 3.4. So this is our final answer. Okay, so going further, so these are quantiles, quartiles, and deciles, percentiles. So let's say we have to find the 20th percentile. So the 20th percentile. So here, what is the 20th percentile? So given that we have this, I can actually write this in the upper part. I think it's better. And the size of the pen I have, I think it's good. So we want to find the 20th percentile. So again, we do the same thing. So our I will be 20, okay, times times n, which is 7, plus 1 over 100. So why do I use 100? So I use 100 because we are trying to find the percentile, and in percentile we used 1 to 99, and that is dividing each the parts into 100 equal parts. Okay, so simplifying it further, so I will not take too much time for this. 320. So we'll just do the maths here. Okay, so do your maths here. So it will end up having the 1.6th observation. So 1.6th observation. So after doing the maths here, it's 1.6. And now it still have a point. So P20 is 1.6. So we go first for the first. So where is 1.6? It's in the middle of the 1 and 2, like first and the second. It's 1.6. So going back here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's in the middle of actually 2 and 3. So middle of 2 and 3. So I will erase it. It actually doesn't really matters when we have that in mind. Okay, so the first data there is 2, and the second one is 3. We also have 4, 5, 11, 11. Okay, and what's the other one? Okay, we have also the number 13. Okay, number 13. Okay, so we already know that it is in the 1.6 or 1.6 observation. So 1.6, it is in the middle of the first one, 1 and 2. So 1.6 is in middle of the first and the second. So maybe 1.6 observation is somewhere in here. Okay. So first we get the first one. This is our 1. So that will have 2. Okay, plus. Okay, so how to do that? We have what we have in 1.6. So in the our 1.6. So we go first for the first, which is now the first number, which is 2, and we need to have to plus it with 0.6. Okay, times. Okay, so times the difference between the two, the difference between 2 and 3. Or other case, you have 3 and 2. So guys, it just happened that this is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So it's probably easy, okay, because that is the P20 is just equal to 2.6. Okay, P20 is 2.6. Okay, so you have it there. Okay, so that is quartiles, deciles, and percentiles. Okay, so thank you for listening. I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.